of a potential coming in. We're kind of, again, I'm not sure what Memphis is doing. They got a little bit of what we call range folding, but you can definitely see where that rotation is right now on the radar. So that is this current spot. And we're circling, well, we're waiting for another radar scan, but it's right in here. There you go, white fern, crucifer, especially you need to be into your safe spot. I'll try to get a couple of closer looks at some areas here, some other little communities there, Luray Road. So we're going to stick on that here for a minute. Go ahead, here's the information. Meteorologist Jordan Hubbard is in with me as well. He's going to read you the information on the warning. Go ahead, Jordan.
All right, folks, we've got a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado near Blue Goose, 10 miles east of Jackson, moving east at 35 miles per hour. Hazards indicated are radar indicated rotation and quarter size hail. This includes east central Madison County, does not include the city of Jackson. This does include most of Henderson County. The city of Lexington is in this. Also, it is extended all the way to the Tennessee River. This includes Parsons, the northern 2/3 of Decatur County, also involved in this. Later downwind. But the tightest rotation right now is just to the northwest of the Jackson Dragway. So, folks, if you are near the Jackson Dragway, you definitely need to be in your safe space. If you're in Beach Bluff, you're to the south of the rotation, but still go ahead and head to your safe space. White Fern, Crucifer, Russell Crossroads, Blue Goose, Huron, you're a little farther south of the rotation, but still you're in the polygon, so go ahead and take your safe space. We just got a new scan in, and the rotation does look to have weakened just a little bit, but again, there's still a tornado warning on this, so we're keeping a very close eye on this. It's going to track south of 412 until it gets to about Lexington, where 412 takes a more southeasterly track. Then it will remain north of 412.
All right, Jordan's going to get some more information for us, but right there, north of Beach Bluff, that's where our main concern for rotation is. If there is a tornado, it would be heading into White Fern. Crucifer looks like the center of rotation will stay just north of Luray, but if you're watching us into Lexington, you definitely want to keep an eye on this as it moves on through. It is east of Jackson. There is no tornado concern for the city of Jackson itself, but this is into eastern Madison County, about to move over into Henderson County. So just north of Beach Bluff, there's our area of concern. It's definitely tight. It doesn't look like there's a tornado on the ground yet. From what I can see on the radar, that doesn't mean there isn't one, but it just doesn't jump out to me immediately that there's a tornado on the ground. But if you are in your safe, are in the path of the storm, get to your safe spot. Again, that's a basement, interior room, away from windows. Again, if you have a storm shelter, that's obviously a place that you want to be. We do have our tornado tips. Jordan's going to read those for you right now.
All right, folks, make sure you've got multiple ways to receive warnings. That's our app, your TV, your cell phone. Make sure you have emergency alerts turned on. Make sure you've got a NOAA weather radio with batteries. As a backup, you can use an electrically powered one. Make sure you have batteries. If you're in a vehicle, get out of it. Get to a more substantial shelter. If you're in a vehicle and can't get to a substantial shelter, watch out for trees. Watch out for power lines. Turn around, don't drown. You're going to encounter flooded roadways tonight. Rain is very heavy, especially with the cell that has the tornado warning on it. Now, of course, if you're in a shelter, you're going to want to be in the smallest, most central room on the lowest floor, away from all windows. Basement, if you've got it, and you want to have on hand, you're going to have your batteries and a flashlight, water, and a first aid kit, and any time-sensitive medication you're going to need, at least for the next hour or two.
All right, so let's head back to Max 1 here for our latest. I kind of like what I'm seeing on the latest couple of scans. It looks like we're losing some of our bright colors with this. You notice it's still got some reds and greens, though, still some concern for a potential tornado. Go ahead and throw on our debris tracker. I don't think we're going to see anything on it right now because I don't think there's a confirmed tornado, but I just wanted to double check. So we're going to continue to keep a close eye on our debris tracker. But again, tornado warning remains in effect. That is for this cell. That is just, there's a confirmed tornado northeast of Waverly, but that is moving away from us. So that's good news for that one. But here's our latest on our tornado warning. It does include Decatur, Henderson, and Madison counties. That's out until 11 p.m. tonight. If you're watching us in Jackson, there is no tornado warning for you, and we'll probably be clearing Madison County in the next few minutes, and that's going to be a problem for Henderson County if it continues to rotate. So the reason this one trying to spin up, it's kind of got a pretty untapped atmosphere to the southeast of it. So we got these southeasterly winds drawing right up into the Luray area right now. And there's a look at where there could be a tornado just north of Luray. So if you're north of Luray, east of Luray, if you're between Luray and Lexington, you need to get into your safe spot. It looks like we do have some rotation there, picking up on a couple different radars. Jordan, what are you seeing right now that you're saying?
I'm in Weather Service chat. We have a social media report of a funnel cloud in eastern Madison County, but also on Max 2, I'm seeing an inflow notch and a donut, which is really concerning. It's just to the west of Crucifer. It's on the Henderson County side of the county line.
All right, let's pull up Max 2 so we can show that here real quick. All right, so yeah, that's definitely a little bit of a donut there, Jordan. Definitely showing some signs, but that inflow notch you see there south of Crucifer, to me that's a little bit more concerning as to where the actual tornado would be. So we're going to go back and try to see if, looking at this at a different radar, maybe we can get a better view at it. What radar are you looking at there, Jordan, that's showing that?
That is Memphis.
Okay, so let's go ahead and kind of pull this up a little bit there. So, all right, well, it looks better on the Max 2, but let's go back to the velocity here on Max 1. Again, the Memphis radar, while you're seeing all those, go ahead on Max 1, while you're seeing all this purple stuff, we call this range folding. It's when the radar, Memphis, what they're doing is they're cutting down the time between scans on the radar. So it shrinks as far out as the radar will go, but they get updates every let's say 30 seconds instead of every minute or two. But there's our area of rotation in and around Luray, White Fern. It looks like it's going to continue to track off to the east. Hopefully we get a more clear radar coverage. If you're watching us in Beach Bluff, I think it's now a couple miles east of you. But Lexington, you need to stay with us. I'm not saying immediately run to your safe spot in Lexington. You still got about 10 minutes, I think, before we make that decision for Lexington. But if you're in Crucifer, I think you needed to head over into your safe spot. We can get a couple different looks at this on the radar, different radar. So we've got Memphis, and then we can use 3 different radars to look at it. I'm going to go ahead and see if we can pull up our local, our exclusive radar, our Camden radar. It's probably a little too far away to get a view out of our Camden radar, but we'll go ahead and see. Yeah, that one's a little too far away still. So, but we might be able to use that when it gets a little closer. So I'm going to stick with this here in a minute. Again, I know this is rough looking at this going, what is that? I mean, it's a bunch of just colors that are scrambled together. But this is the area of concern for a potential tornado south of Crucifer, north of Luray. I'm going to stick on this radar image till we get a new one because maybe it'll be a little bit more clear. That'll probably be showing up here. All right, so now it looks like just south of Crucifer, if there was a tornado, there's definitely some rotation here. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a funnel cloud. There could even be a potential touchdown between Luray and Crucifer. I'm not sure there's much of communities there, but I know that there's a highway that goes between those two. We'll see rural crossroads. So, all right, so Luray Road, Huron Road, that's where the center of rotation would be. And it looks like it's going to be heading, again, awful close into Lexington. So Highway 200 through the Lexington bypass south of town, then into Lexington. If you're wondering how far away from Lexington is that, all right, the storm itself is moving at about 40 miles an hour, so that's 8 miles. So that's about 5 minutes, about 10 minutes out, 10, 12 minutes till it gets into Lexington. So again, you got about 5 minutes to make a decision. But if right now, if I was in between Crucifer and Lexington, I'd be in my safe spot. I'd say we give it another scan or two if you're in Lexington before you decide to make your decision. But right now, there's definitely enough rotation there that I would be concerned. I would be getting everything ready for your safe spot if you're in Lexington, just in case we look at this radar and it doesn't get any better here in the next few minutes. If you're West Lexington, you may want to even be a little bit faster than that. All right, what you can do right now, pull up your phone, go to WBBJTV.com/live, or you can, on our app, our WBBJ Storm Team Weather app. You can watch our live coverage there. Scroll down to the bottom. There's a link. Hit live. So you can take your phone with you to your safe spot so you don't have to stay with your TV. So again, WBBJ Storm Team Weather app. You can download it right now. It's real quick. If you don't have time to download it, go to your web browser, WBBJTV.com/live. You can watch our live coverage of the tornado as it is coming on in. You can also watch us live on Facebook. We're on Facebook Live right now if that's easier for you to access. you can go to our WBBJ News Facebook page. There's a link there. We're live, plus we're live on YouTube TV. So if you're watching us in Lexington right now, if YouTube's easier for you to pull up on your phone, just search WBBJ. So make sure you get our coverage up somewhere digital, so that way if you have to get away from your TV and you're in Lexington, you'll still be able to get our coverage. All right, we should be getting a new radar scan here coming up within the next 30 seconds, I think. So we'll see if we do see anything that looks promising or worse with the latest radar with this area. Okay, we've got a lot of range folding again from the National Weather Service out of Memphis. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at our other radar that we do have coming on in, see if we can see if that one's any better. So it looks like still there's some rotation north of Luray. Jordan, why don't you put a new tracker on that on Max 2 and let us know if I'm missing anything that you're seeing.
So the track I have on it, I have it tracked out to the river as far out as the polygon is extended right down the middle. So the most likely places of impact. And right now it's got Crucifer at 1024. It's right on your doorstep. Lexington at 1039. It's got the hospital in Lexington at 1038, so a minute before. Warren's Bluff at 1046. Darden at 1056. Beacon at 1059. Decatur County Hospital at 1105. Parsons also at 1105, and Bustletown at 1114.
All right, so there's the latest on the timing. It doesn't look too bad right now on this current image that we got. All right, so there's the latest. So if there is a tornado, it would be right here. I'll circle it for you here again. And if you're in the Lexington area, if you want to play it safe, you can go ahead and get ready and get into your safe spot if you got us pulled up online. Again, I don't see anything that says there's a tornado on the ground. I'm not verifying that as confirming this as a tornado. That doesn't mean it won't spin up one when it heads into Lexington here within the next minute or two, but there is definitely still some rotation there between Luray and Lexington. It's probably about 5 minutes out before it comes on in. You notice we're looks like about 5 miles out right now. So from the center of rotation, again, it's pretty broad, not jumping out to me, tornado on the ground. We'll go ahead and pull up our debris tracking product just to make sure. I don't think it's going to show anything, but we want to make sure here as we're coming on through. All right, so it looks like we are pretty quiet here on the debris tracking as well. So that's some pretty good news that we're not seeing any sort of debris on the ground, but there's definitely still some rotation. See if we can get maybe another view of it. Looks like there's some strong winds right now in Jackson, but there's our, okay, so there's the latest scan we got. To me, it looks pretty good. I'm pretty confident in saying there's not a tornado on the ground right now from this latest radar scan, but there's definitely rotation. There's some reds and greens, and it looks like if there was a tornado with this, which again, I don't think there is, that doesn't mean there won't be one in the next radar scan we get, but it's starting to weaken a little bit, losing some of its rotation, but it is coming right into Lexington. There's at least going to be some gusty winds with this, even if there's not a tornado in the Lexington area. So if you're extra cautious, you're not comfortable with where you're at, you can go ahead and head to your safe spot. If you got a pretty decent fortified house in Lexington and you want to stay with us for another scan or two, you can do that, but it's kind of all up to you as a personal opinion. You need to do what makes you feel the safest. But again, there's definitely rotation. There could produce a tornado here. I don't see one on the ground right now. The last couple radar scans look better than the ones before. So that's the information that we do have. So we'll stick around here for another scan. They've pulled any sort of Madison County now out of the warning. It's just Henderson County. And then off to the east of that once it gets east of Lexington. But center of rotation is now east of White Fern. Luray, I think you're in the clear from any sort of potential tornado, as well as Blue Goose. It looks like Palestine looks like it's very close to you. I think it's going to pass just to the north. But Lexington's going to be a close call for you. Again, I like what I'm seeing on the last couple radar scans with this. To me, it looks less concerning than it did when we started our live tornado warning coverage here a little bit ago. So again, we're riding 412 here. Looks like it's going to, the center of rotation is probably about a mile right now south of 412. We should be able to get another image popping up here from the National Weather Service. But you notice if we go back a few scans when the tornado warning was first issued, see that right there? That was right around 10:09, about 16 minutes ago. There was a lot of, the colors were very close to one another. So if it ever did produce a tornado, that was probably the worst of the radar scans, just north of Beach Bluff heading into White Fern. So we'll pull that out again, and then you notice it started to lose some of that rotation, and it looks really, really good, in my opinion, coming into Lexington right now compared to what it did a few minutes ago. So we still have that tornado warning. Even looking at it on the other radar, you still see some greens and reds, but I'm pretty confident in saying that there's not a tornado right now currently with this little area of rotation between Luray and Lexington. But the tornado warning remains in effect here, at least until 10:45, maybe extended longer. We'll see what the National Weather Service does to it. But if you're watching us in Parsons and Lexington, it's still going to come through. It's still going to be a windy thunderstorm. Even if it doesn't produce a tornado, it still looks like it's going to be pretty intense as it comes on by. This one actually had a confirmed tornado with it. That was northwest of Only, but it was east of the Tennessee River, so that's Nashville TV coverage area. So far, we haven't had any tornado touchdowns here in West Tennessee, but we still do have that rotation between Lexington and Luray. Jordan, are you hearing anything at all from the National Weather Service in chat
Nothing
that
new,
they're concerned about?
Nothing new since they clipped Madison County out of the warning. I will say reflectivity looks a lot meaner than velocity and correlation coefficient, so that's always good news.
Yeah, let's go ahead and pull up Max 2. Jordan can explain to you what that inflow notch is that he sees south of Lexington.
All right, so that inflow notch right here where you see that little V shape in the green and it wraps around to almost where it gives that classic hook echo shape. That's our inflow notch, so that tornado, if there was one, would be this right here, right where that little almost looks like a ball at the bottom of the storm.
Yeah, so I definitely still see enough that they should keep that tornado warning going. I'm not saying that they should cancel it or allowed to expire this warning. So if you are in Lexington, again, if you're concerned about it at all, I would definitely head to your safe spot with this. I'm going to try to see what happens. Maybe if I go here, minimal or slight. Just trying to get a better view like the one that's popping up on your Max, Jordan, but it's not. So, all right. Well, good thing we got two systems and two meteorologists here to help you. All right, so Lexington again, here's our latest radar scan. We've got a couple different velocity products. Let's look at our storm relative velocity compared to our just traditional velocity. Again, I mean, it still looks pretty ugly. It doesn't look like confirmed tornado, but again, if you're in Lexington, you may just want to head to your safe spot if you're uncomfortable at all, because there could be a tornado with this. Again, the radar can only tell you so much. You know, you can look at a radar and you can say that it looks classic, there's a tornado. Sometimes you look at it and you say there isn't, and occasionally there is one. So there's definitely enough rotation here. You won't be able to see it. It's at nighttime. That's why nighttime tornadoes are so dangerous. But again, looks like there's definitely some rotation between Palestine and Lexington, or Palestine and Lexington here. So that's going to continue. They're not going to cancel this tornado warning. So there's definitely enough of concern to keep the tornado warning going tonight, although there's not enough that we're seeing on the radar for someone to say, yeah, there's damage, there's debris, there's a tornado on the ground. So that's what we're seeing there. With the latest radar scan. Still got some greens, still got some bright pinks. We'll see. We should get another radar scan here coming up in the next couple of minutes. But this is definitely the most concerning storm we've had so far tonight in our viewing area. And obviously that's why this one's got a tornado warning on it. Lightning ticks are still pretty high with this storm, 256. So anytime you get a storm that begins to get an increase in lightning, that can often give you a sign that it is trying to rotate or produce a tornado. So I'm going to kind of zoom this out here. Let's kind of pull up the lightning tracker, and we'll see. I mean, look at all that lightning that's associated with this storm. So we're going to minimize that so that we can see it better. So, so yeah, there's a lot. But if you go back a few scans, you know, you can see that lightning is increasing. So there's a chance that this is trying to even intensify a little bit as it comes on by. So we're definitely not done talking about this storm, although again, it doesn't jump out to me that tornado warning on the ground. Jordan's pulling up on Max 2 some some smaller towns and street names that are coming up. If you want to go ahead and take a look at that.
Yeah, Joel, this is it's getting a little uncomfortably close to downtown Lexington for my taste. So if you're along South Main Street or you live on a road that's off of South Main Street, definitely take this one a little more seriously than normal. This is going to pass dangerously close. It's going to pass south of 412 South Main Street, Holly Street, Lagoon Road, McKnight Drive, Broad Street South, the Lexington bypass. It's right on top of the Lexington bypass right now. But if you are north of Highway 22 alternate, you should be okay. Or if you're south of Highway 22 alternate, you'll be okay for now. But definitely downtown Lexington and points south, you're going to want to get in your safe space, right?
All right, so back over to Max 1. So here's our area of rotation right here, as Jordan was showing you, southwest of Lexington. If you're south of town, you're at a greater threat than if you are north of town. So as he said, if you're south of town, probably want to just grab your cell phone, get to your safe spot, just in case there is a tornado on the ground, or just in case it produces one here in the next couple minutes before it moves through the town. So, but if you're in this area, this is our most likely area for rotation. Remember, also the radar is usually a minute or two behind, so it may look like it's here, but it may actually be here right now. So, you know, you got to remember that. The radar image and the data's got to go to space and back before it comes to us, uploaded into our system. So it's not, it's as real time as you can get, but sometimes it's a minute or a minute and a half behind. So there's our area of rotation. Just looks like it'll pass south of Lexington along 22 where that bypass area is. Be very close to downtown Lexington. If you're east Lexington, you got a better chance of being impacted by this as well as if you're north or west of town. So there's our area of rotation with this. Kind of got it circled here. And definitely not going to cancel this tornado warning, folks. So it's not like this shouldn't be issued. This absolutely should be issued as a tornado warning. And we're going to continue to watch it here. If some other communities down the line, we'll go ahead and see if I can get a tracker where I think it's probably going to be heading. So if you see some of your other communities up here, like Union Church, Darden, Pleasant Hill School, if you know these locations, you live next to them, you could be in the path of this as it comes on through. Looks like right now it is going right through Lexington. With some strong winds. There's definitely rotation, tornado on the ground, probably not, but possibly. So, you know, do you want to take that chance? I probably wouldn't. If I knew my family was in Lexington, I always tell them to play everything safe than sorry. Even as being a meteorologist, sometimes, you know, I can look at my wife and kids and say, do I want to risk that even if I, you know, I'm 95% confident? That's, again, a choice that you have to make. But definitely rotation heading into South Lexington. Not seeing anything confirming this as a tornado, as it will track very close to 412 into the Darden area, probably moving to the north. Definitely rotation south of Lexington here. And again, you notice there's bright colors here, bright colors here. So when you have a big broad view like this, you probably got a large area of the storm that is rotating compared to a supercell when it's very easy to see the exact spot where the tornado is spawning. When you get a line like this, there could be little multiple places that are trying to spin up. So although it looks like here may be the main area of rotation, still could be a couple miles down to the south. So that's why these tornado polygons that they issue are usually pretty big. They don't issue them for just a tiny little area because tornadoes don't always behave like you think they're going to. Sometimes they go a little north, south. Sometimes they redevelop, can spawn in a different spot as they come on through. So there's the latest out of Lexington. I don't want to ignore everybody else, Jordan, but we still got severe thunderstorm warnings down to the south, but that's our only tornado warning here, it looks like. So they've got another one there north of Only and a couple more closer to Nashville. But looking at this out of multiple radars, it looks like it's moving pretty slow, but the center of rotation is right now into the Lexington area. And any of that down south doesn't appear to be as concerning at the current moment. National Weather Service, it looks like they are saying the wind signature looks pretty good heading towards the Hardeman-Fayette County line. That's for the severe thunderstorm warning. That's south of our tornado warning. So haven't heard anything from the National Weather Service about our strong our tornado warning in a while. So they that was since 10:23, so it's been 13 minutes since we heard anything from them. So that's good news, because the more you hear from them, the more concerning they are to it. But definitely some rotation. This is out again until 11 p.m., so that is another 24 minutes if they want to keep it that long. So if you're watching us in Parsons right now, I think you're okay. You know, I'm not saying run to your safe spot immediately in Parsons like we did in Lexington. Let's watch the radar scan here a little bit as it moves off to the east. We'll take a look at some more communities here that may pop up once we get our next radar scan to come in. But it looks like just south of Lexington is probably the main area where this is trying to spawn a tornado. Again, not seeing a tornado on the ground, not seeing that. When we look at our debris product, it's not confirmed. You see how the polygon's red color? If it becomes a confirmed tornado, it'll turn pink. If it becomes a confirmed large and dangerous tornado, it'll become purple. And if it's a tornado emergency, you'll see the polygon turn black. And that's when there's confirmed large, dangerous tornado that'll be heading into a highly populated area. Hopefully we don't get any tornado warnings at all, but they're better when they stay red than if they turn pink, purple, or especially black. If you're joining us tonight, just know this. Wednesday, the severe storm threat looks more significant than tonight. So you're going to be seeing a lot of us, we think, on Wednesday as well. So we've got plans Wednesday this week. Just heads up on that. We're going to be definitely doing some tornado warning coverage, I think, on Wednesday here in West Tennessee. All right, we should be getting a new scan here. And all right, so it looks like they did some sort of update. When it starts flashing like that, that's something from the National Weather Service, either meaning they're going to cancel it or they are going to extend it. So we'll see. All right, they expires.
Joel, if you want they trimmed out western Henderson County, so where this just includes Lexington East.
Okay, so it still does include you folks, excuse me, into the Lexington area, and looks like there's a new watch coming, but that won't be for us because we are already under a tornado watch. So I think that may be for some of our neighbors. But all right, so latest radar scan in Lexington. Again, tough to pinpoint where the most concerning spot is because it's very broad here on the radar. But if it can, let's go back. We can kind of track it this way. Looks like it's moving almost due east. So if you live along Highway 412, Warren's Bluff area, Darden, Parsons, if you have a good storm shelter, or if you're don't feel real safe in your house, or if you're in a mobile home or a home that just doesn't have as good a capabilities to withstand some gusty winds or a small tornado, probably should head to your safe spot if you're in Warren's Bluff. Probably got about 5 minutes in Darden. We're probably still about 15 minutes out before it becomes an issue for Parsons. So, but definitely still some rotation. Definitely not going to cancel this tornado warning when you see these bright reds and greens that are next to each other like this. So again, tornado warning remains in effect for another 20 minutes. Does not include anywhere in Madison County again, but it is right there south of Lexington. So looks like the worst of it is maybe a mile or two south of Lexington right now. It'll be very close to Warren's Bluff. So if you're in Warren's Bluff, probably want to head to your safe spot. Again, if you're uncomfortable at all with even rolling the dice, even the slightest. Again, no confirmed tornado on it. Nothing that jumps out to me that says this is an immediate emergency. But again, when I say that, you need to know that sometimes in a scan or two, you can go from I'm not very concerned to 2 or 3 minutes later to say that looks much worse. So that's, it's not like we're getting an immediate change every 10 seconds on the radar. They're not that, the radars aren't that advanced. They got to sweep a large area and they absorb a lot of data. So that's why sometimes it takes a minute or two before we get our new radar images popping up. But definitely in Lexington, I think if there was a tornado on the ground, I think we would have heard about it by now, Jordan, so that's good news. But probably some pretty gusty winds still coming into Lexington currently. So looks like we've lost there you go. So I want to kind of put this in rotation. So, all right, so this kind of gives you a good idea of what we were looking at here when it started, just into eastern Madison County. So where those reds and greens were, and now it's sliding south of Lexington. So we still have that rotation It is tracking, it looks like, a little bit south. It's almost going due east, but I also think it's tracking a little bit south, which was probably going to take it south of Parsons. But it may impact areas now north of Scotts Hill. So if we continue that general direction, I mean, it's not coming south much, but if you notice when it first started to where it is now, it looks like it's maybe drifting south a little bit. So just south of Lexington is where we're seeing the most concerning rotation with this. Again, it's not sticking out anything that says, I can say this immediate community, you need to take shelter right away, but a Decaturville, probably more likely to see this, and it may pass right between Decaturville and Parsons. See if Warren's Bluff again, a little concerned for you, but again, anywhere along the highway 412. Jordan, are you looking at anything of significance that I'm missing? I'm trying to give people as much information as I can, but I'm kind of just repeating myself because there's no new information to give.
I'm checking for debris signatures from all of the local radars that we have, and the good news is I'm not finding anything. However, I am seeing returns that would tell me that there's a pretty significant hail core in this storm, but again, reflectivity doesn't agree with that, so we'll keep an eye on this, of course. Rotation's still there. It's right along Highway 412, maybe about half a mile south of Highway 412, just to the southeast of Lexington. But we haven't heard anything new from the National Weather Service in Memphis, and that's likely because they're on the call with the Storm Prediction Center for a new watch coming out. I'm assuming that's for North Mississippi for the overnight hours.
All right, so they're keeping the tornado warning up for as long as we can tell. So let's head back over to Max 1. So I just kind of want to give you the big picture. If you're watching us in Jackson, I know we're still under a severe thunderstorm warning. Our severe weather threat is done. If you're pretty much north of the I-40 area, pretty much everyone north of I-40, looks like the severe storm threat's done. So it's just riding just south of I-40 right now. That looks like some pretty big hail south of Oakland, maybe heading into Moscow. Looks like Bolivar's picking up some pretty intense winds. Henderson, you're kind of split, right? We've got our storm that had the tornado warning, and we've got the other one north of Bolivar. So we do got the two different clusters of storms. One tornado warning continues. But again, if you're north of I-40, there'll still be some showers tonight, maybe a few rumbles of thunder, but your chance for tornadoes or anything significant looks like it's wrapped on up. We'll kind of take a quick radar tour here while we're waiting on our next image to come in out of the Lexington storm. Luray, Pinson, looks like you're picking up some pretty heavy rain. And slide that up to the north a little bit, looking at our rotation, just make sure we're not missing anything. A couple different radar views of it. Again, pretty good news, I think. It definitely has looked meaner over the last 45 minutes than it does right now. So that's obviously the best thing you can hope for, is that it slowly weakens. Again, I'd be highly shocked if there was a tornado on the ground with that right now. Again, I can't 100% say that that's not going to change things, but right now it's looking pretty good for us in Lexington, and then as it moves off to the east. The southern storms, though, I do want to go back to this one, because that is some big hail. Looks like coming into Oakland. This storm is generally tracking to the east, so Williston, Hickory Valley may eventually become a problem for you guys. That supercell we were watching rotating down to the south, looks like that's not going to be a problem for us. I don't see a lot of rotation here in the Bolivar area. Looks like we've got a new severe thunderstorm warning maybe being issued, or maybe a flash flood. Jordan, what is that?
It is a severe thunderstorm warning, and it's a big one. It extends all the way down to North Mississippi. It includes Chester, McNairy, Fayette, Madison, and Hardeman in Tennessee, and a few Mississippi counties as well, for 1.25 inch hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds.
All right, yeah, that's this one that does include the Meaden area and Henderson, although I think the worst of it's going to stay just south of you guys. There's still a little bit of, looks like some gusty winds coming into those areas. Definitely Henderson and Bolivar picking up some pretty gusty winds. We'll take another look at our tornado warned storm. And up north here, see the radar scan there, how that one looks worse than the one that we're dealing with. Notice the colors are brighter. You see a little bit more rotation. So that tornado warning definitely concerns me a lot more than the one that we're dealing with. The good news for us, though, that one is moving away from us. So again, we'll kind of still got our tornado warning, still out till 11. So that includes Decatur, Henderson County. It looks like the rotation is now east of Lexington. So if you're watching us in Lexington, you can go ahead, come out of your safe spot. It looks like it's past you guys, which is obviously good news. Trying to clear off a couple of these graphics here. Kind of going to run things back up to the top. So, all right, here's what we're dealing with tonight. We've got our line of thunderstorms extending. That's the big hail east of Memphis. We did have some hail pockets trying to show up here in Jackson, but what happened was we did get some hail north of Jackson, but the rain was so heavy coming down like a monsoon, the radar thought it was hail because it was that heavy as it was coming on through. But I think that is some hail, but still could be monsoonal type rain down near Oakland. All right, we got our tornado warned storm. I know Lexington, you're still officially under the tornado warning, but any sort of rotation looks like it's past you. Got some heavy rain and winds coming into Henderson and Luray. There's still rotation, you notice east of Lexington though. So again, if you're in the Darden area, you probably need to head into your safe spot. If you're between Parsons and Decaturville, if you're in a home that may not do real well with strong winds or a weak tornado, you might want to head to your safe spot as well. The best way to follow our coverage again, right now we are on Facebook Live, WBBJ, our news page. We're on Facebook Live there. We're also live on YouTube. We've got our WBBJ YouTube channel now. We're live on our app, both our news and our weather app. There's a link at the bottom, select live, and our website, wbbjtv.com/live. Any of those platforms, including Facebook now, you can watch our live coverage. So you go ahead and pull it up on your phone. If you need to get to your safe spot, and let's say you can't hear your TV from your safe spot, or if it's in a different room, or you got to go outside, you can always pull up our coverage on your phone. Hopefully your Wi-Fi goes that far, or you have internet service through a cell phone company. But there's our area of rotation just east of Lexington near Darden. See if we can get a different view out of it, out of the Memphis radar. So there's where it was tracking. About 45 minutes ago it started to rotate, and it's going to pass right between Parsons and Decaturville. It's right along the highway right now, maybe a little south of 412. Again, it's trying really hard to produce a tornado. It's just missing something, I think. Part of the stew isn't there to produce a tornado for whatever reason, but it still could. It's still rotating, and it still should be a tornado warned. So National Weather Service is doing a good job leaving that tornado warning on. This is still a dangerous storm as it moves into Darden. Then again, Parsons here in about 10 minutes or so. The warning's out for another 10 minutes. There's a look at it on the reflectivity product. Again, we've got that just huge hail, I think, down near Oakland. Got that severe thunderstorm warning now, gusty winds into the Bolivar area. Tune, Jackson, our severe thunderstorm threat is done, although we'll still probably hear some lightning, or hear some thunder and see some lightning tonight. Here's the latest severe thunderstorm warning, includes Selmer, Bolivar, Middleton, that's Hardeman, McNairy counties. That's out till 11:30 for up to 60-mile-an-hour winds, maybe some quarter-size hail trying to mix on in, and we'll be watching the whole area for a potential spin-up or two. But there's our main storm of concern right between Lexington and Parsons right now. It's kind of a slow move. We just got a brand new radar scan. Looks almost identical to the last couple. So not bad news, but not good news. We would like to see that, rotation disappear completely, but it is still kind of showing up there. Let's check in with meteorologist Jordan Hubbard for a minute on Max 2. So Jordan can give you an update because he's got that better look at the reflectivity showing that inflow notch. Jordan, is that inflow notch still showing up?
It is, but it's almost lost in the noise. Nashville did extend the tornado warning into, I believe that's Humphreys County, over into Middle Tennessee. So they're obviously watching this storm just as closely as we are because it's still rotating. We do have, I don't believe, there's no debris signature with this. If there was, it would be just to the west of Darden on the south side of Highway 412. We'll pull up velocity for you. This is actually out of the Fort Campbell, Kentucky radar. This is the closest radar to, Actually, we can check our Camden radar, and it's just on the outside of the range there. But yes, this looks like it. If there is a tornado associated with this, it's going to clip the south side of Darden, on the south side of Highway 412, Middleburg Road. It is east of Middleburg, Decaturville Road, and it looks to pass maybe to the south of Darden, the center of rotation, and then it'll move into Decatur County, which does look like it'll pass between Parsons and Decaturville along Highway 641.
All right, so National Weather Service in Nashville, as he said, is also concerned for this. I think that's a good call for them. It is still rotating as it slides right through Highway 412 right now. Trying to kind of get a closer look here. Dixie Mills, you need to be in your safe spot immediately. Probably Utah, Darden. Again, so they've trimmed out Lexington now out of the tornado warning area. They still kept it a little bit further north, but you notice the National Weather Service in Memphis drew their polygon a little bit further south because, as I was saying, it looks like it's drifting south a little bit, which will put it real close to Parsons and Decaturville. So we're probably a few miles out right now from 641. We're 6-7 miles out. So that means we're looking at probably 10 minutes tops, maybe even 5 till it gets there, depending on where our radar scan is in the update. So again, Garrett, that's another community that I've seen pop up there. Let me see if I can get Garrett to come up again. That was kind of right in there. So Garrett, Beacon, Wilkinstown, Dixie Mills, right there along Middleburg, Decatur Road. So again, if there was an actual tornado here, it'd be easier to give community names and streets because it would be easier to point out. But that's our center of rotation still west of Darden. Looks like, again, in the next 5 minutes or so, approaching the highway between Parsons and Decaturville. Definitely rotation, definitely concerning, but I've definitely seen worse radar scans today from some of the storms. Maybe not here in West Tennessee, but the ones that were west of the Mississippi River. But still trying. It's trying to do something still here. That's our new radar scan as it's now closer to Decaturville. Probably more concerned in Decaturville than Parsons. If I was a betting man, right there probably north of Scotts Hill, looks like. So Decaturville is probably a more, if you're in Decaturville, you're not concerned, or if you're a little concerned about your property or your house or whatever it is, if a tornado did come through, you may want to head to your safe spot. I think you're probably okay if you're watching us in Parsons. But again, it still produces some pretty strong winds, and it never hurts to be safer than sorry in these situations. Again, I can look at a radar and tell you what I think, but that doesn't mean that that's the best decision for you to make for your family. You need to make that on your own. I can only tell you with what I'm seeing on the radar, which shows rotation, but I don't see what I'd say is a tornado right now. Again, maybe we'll get another scan, a couple minutes, looks a little bit more interesting, but I do agree with the National Weather Service decision to not cancel this warning. I think it's still rotating enough that it deserves a tornado warning tag on it, as it's coming into some pretty populated areas in Decaturville, Parsons, and then it'll track east and then cross the Tennessee River, and then the Nashville TV stations will take it up once it heads east of the Tennessee River. But we're going to stick with it here for the next few minutes or so from Parsons down to Decaturville. Hopefully we get a new scan here. They've taken their radar back from the range folding where they were giving us an update every minute. Although the radar wasn't going out as far, they had to stop doing that because the storm got too far away from the radar. So now we're back to traditional timing on the radar readings. But at least we're not dealing with that range folding, all that purple that was on the screen that made it almost impossible to read the radar. So we'll stick around until we get one more scan here. Then we're going to check in with Jordan again, and he's going to see if the National Weather Service is saying anything about this. Usually they'll give some updates with these storms, but they're pretty busy tonight, I think, dealing with a lot of other storms that have been moving on down. So this is looking at this, as Jordan said, out of Fort Campbell. We've got Fort Campbell and the Memphis radar. So we'll kind of, that's Memphis right there. And it doesn't look too bad from Memphis. And then there's Fort Campbell, still showing you a little bit of that rotation showing up. as it tracks down to the southeast. Again, it's lost rotation even from, I think, what it did the last 10 minutes ago. Wouldn't you say, Jordan?
I would. The upper level rotation's a little tighter. Paducah radar has got some pretty bright reds, but the greens are still muted. Memphis, again, the rotation's definitely weakened over the past several scans. But at this point, it's safe to say the rotation, it's been a few minutes since we've gotten a scan, it's definitely passed into Decatur County. I would keep an eye if you live near Riverside High School. It is between Parsons and Decaturville on Highway 641. If you're near Riverside High School, I would definitely take precautions just to be on the safe side. But we just got a new scan, and it is right on the county line.
All right, I'm trying to look at it from our exclusive access to our Camden radar, but it's a little too far away, I think, from that. So I think it's kind of right on the edge, and the Camden radar is shooting through several different thunderstorms. So again, it's looking better. You know, it's tough to look at this radar scan at all and say, yeah, there's a tornado on the ground, but still rotating. These storms, though, have had a history tonight of once they've crossed the Tennessee River and moved into Middle Tennessee, that they've started to spin up a little bit more for whatever reason. We've had that happen with a couple different storms Jordan and I were watching earlier. But that tornado warning remains in effect here for at least another 3 minutes. I assume the National Weather Service in Memphis will maybe extend it for another 15 minutes until it moves out of the viewing area, but we'll see what they decide to do, because as I said, the last few radar scans have shown it to be less organized than where it was even to a few minutes ago. But it's going to pass real close, again, to Decaturville, center of rotation. You notice the colors aren't as bright. You notice kind of lighter green, lighter red than what we were seeing just even 15, 20 minutes ago when it was near the Lexington area. And I'll tell you this, if there was a tornado on the ground and it went through Lexington, there's a 0% chance we wouldn't know about it right now. So we've got our news team answering phone calls. We've got our news team always ready to go survey damage here and around West Tennessee, even on the weekends. So again, still a little bit of red showing up to Darden and Garrett. I'm going to go ahead and give a full radar tour here, Jordan, and maybe we'll get back to that, and then we'll find out what the National Weather Service is going to do here, excuse me, in a couple minutes. All right, so 2 tornado warnings, 1 in West Tennessee, a couple as well over into Middle Tennessee. If you're north of the interstate, your severe storm threat is done. We've still got some pretty large hail, it looks like, southwest of Bolivar. Got that big severe thunderstorm warning, although none of this looks too bad. From Bolivar over to Henderson to me, that though is looks like hail for sure over just east of Shelby County. So we got our tornado warning. We've got some pretty heavy rain now. Looks like east of Luray, your severe storm threat is done in Luray. It's done in Jackson. It's done up when you get north of the interstate. That includes Wildersville and Holiday. Still a little rotation though over near Decaturville. Not really showing up much anymore on the Memphis radar. But you can see when the tornado warning was issued to East Madison County, it was spinning pretty good, and then kind of has lost a lot of its rotation as it's now moving away from us. Not seeing anything showing up for debris. I know that you're looking at this going, what does that show? What we're looking for when we look at our debris product is a circle that just kind of stands out, that doesn't match the rest of the colors. Like if we had a blue circle right here, we would know that that was a debris ball, which can be lofted sometimes 15,000 feet, 20,000 feet into the air from tornadoes. And that's how we pick that up on the debris tracker. It's a new product we've had over the last couple of years as meteorologists. Really helps us to confirm tornadoes. So Lexington, your severe storm threat's done tonight. I know it's still raining, but this is probably the worst storms right now are these ones. Down near Somerville, south of Oakland, near Moscow, that's where the really heavy rain is. A little bit of wind in Bolivar. This could be 40, maybe 50 mile an hour winds showing up in Bolivar, so it's definitely an ugly storm there. And you're on top of it, you're getting, I'm certain, a lot of lightning still showing up. That severe thunderstorm warning's out till 11:30. We're watching some areas for potential rotation, not seeing anything too concerning. But there's our storm. All right, so it looks like the tornado warning, Jordan, they just let it go at the top of the hour. But still, if you're watching us in Parsons, Decaturville, we still got some rotation right here. So storm's still going to go through you guys for a minute or two. But the National Weather Service in Memphis has decided to allow that tornado warning to expire. Let's see what their thoughts were on it.
They haven't said anything.
They haven't said anything, but they just allowed it was set to expire at 11, so I think that's what they did there. Usually they say something if they're going to extend it or just cancel it. So, but they didn't do either. They just let it expire. National Weather Service in Nashville, kind of read what they have to say about it. They're saying it's a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado. They issued it when it was just east of Lexington. They said tornado quarter-size hail will be possible. So, but they put that out about 12 minutes ago. So they're still a little concerned for some rotation with this storm. Again, if you're watching us in Decaturville, Largo, Utah, Howard, probably still want to head into your safe spot. I know most of the people out of Decatur County watch Nashville news, I think. But for those of you that are WBBJ fans are sticking with us, we're going to stick with you till at least this storm crosses 641. So we're watching it right now between Parsons and Decaturville, although there's no longer a tornado warning on this cell, according to the National Weather Service. It looks like it is crossing 641 right now with still obvious rotation. Not an obvious tornado, not an obvious you need to go immediately to your storm shelter type setup, but there's obvious rotation. We clearly keep seeing this red showing up in a plethora of green. So that's a sign that there's still some rotation, and it's kind of in the right side of the storm where you're getting those southeasterly winds. There was that inflow notch that was showing up pretty good earlier, but really not seeing any of that anymore to be super concerned. But we'll watch it here at least for one more radar scan before we go back to regular programming, and then we'll continue obviously to track these storms for the remainder of the night. We'll do one more radar tour before we let you go, but we'll get one more scan on this one as it comes through. So we'll just make sure that it's not going to try to spin up or do anything else that we're missing. And then we'll just kind of go through things here one more time. So go ahead, rack it up to the top. Still some very heavy rain and storms coming on by. Still some lightning showing up on our, actually I do want to show you this, because this is kind of cool. I guess cool if you're a meteorologist, but maybe not cool if you hate storms. I'll show you what it looks like outside of downtown Jackson right now. You can kind of see this just scary cloud deck off in the distance if you're looking off to the west. What I think that is, I think that's the cold front maybe, or the final push. But that won't be severe weather. But that definitely is kind of spooky that you see there when you see those dark clouds. And we're still seeing some thunder and lightning popping up as well when we're monitoring that cam. All right, so here is the latest on we'll do a quick little radar tour before we go back to regular programming here. We'll start with our line tracking down to the southeast. Still got 2 tornado warnings east of the Tennessee River right now. Still some hail. If you're watching us in McNairy, Hardin County, I know you often say, you always leave us, you don't stick around for us. No, we stick around for you. Just often these storms die before they get down to the southeast, but we'll continue to give you updates. I think it'll be at least 1 o'clock before we see the storms move out of the Savannah area as well as Hardin County. But it looks worse heading now south of even McNairy County. That's where the big hail is. So we'll watch that. That's pretty ugly. Large hail there, probably some strong winds heading into Selmer. Savannah, I'd say you probably got about 30 minutes. So behind my head, we're probably about 11:30. You'll start to see some of these storms moving into the Savannah area, so heads up for you folks in Hardin County. If you're watching us again north of the interstate, the severe threat's done. If you're watching us now in Pinson, your severe threat's done, Jackson and Luray. So still a little rotation. It's very minimal, but it's still existing east of Decaturville. But again, it was pretty rough when it first started. Jordan and I were watching it, and it just took us a couple of scans, and it just blew up. We knew that tornado warning was coming. That's why we cut into TV before the tornado warning popped up on our screen. So again, very minimal rotation, not seeing anything. You say, what's that, right? Isn't that, something that's odd? No, although when you're looking at it's a debris product called a CC, you look for things kind of like this, but they got to be in a specific spot, and they're usually not that big. So no confirmed tornado on that one. And you notice generally the rain is even weakening some. I don't even think there's any hail left with that. This is definitely hail down south near Moscow, Rossville. That could eventually head into maybe Hickory Valley. But there's our severe thunderstorm warning that's left. Kind of want to go back just for this one and just kind of put this in motion here. Looks like it is tracking south. It was tracking south a lot faster, but now it's even kind of going east. So I'm going to put a tracker on this one for maybe some communities if it continues in this direction. You could be impacted by these gusty winds and hail. If it continues to track east some and not south, that includes Selmer, maybe around midnight when that little ugly storm may come on by. So we'll keep an eye on it. Not seeing any rotation in it, but those are strong winds heading into Middleton and Hornsby as it comes on through. So Silerton, maybe some 40, 50 mile an hour winds for you. And one final look at our little guy there. Again, as it's about to move east of the Tennessee River, no longer going to be a problem for us. All right, so here's our main line. Again, if I-40 northward, you're done. If you're still McNairy, Hardin County, Hardeman County, southern, looks like Decatur County, going to still be dealing with these storms for the next couple of hours. The tornado watch has been pulled, the original tornado watch. Remember the one that was supposed to expire at 11? It now has, but they're still keeping the one out now southeast of Madison County for a little bit longer. We still got that level 3, 4 severe weather tonight. Still some damaging wind concerns. Still a tornado threat, still a hail threat. But again, the Storm Prediction Center only updates these about every 6 hours or so. So here's a look at the line. By 1 a.m. coming through Savannah, 2, 3 o'clock, it looks like it's going to clear on out. We will give you some more updates, obviously online. We'll keep our Facebook Live up. We'll still do some occasional break-ins and talk about it. If the storms get stronger or we need to break into live TV, we'll do that as well. But if you want to keep watching our coverage, we're going to head back to regular programming on TV. But you can watch us on our Facebook Live again. Just go to WBBJ. We're not going to talk the entire time, but every 15 minutes or so, we'll break in, give you a quick update. If things do get real bad, then you'll be seeing us a lot more. But just occasionally pull up the Facebook Live, and we'll try to give you updates. Let's see. We'll probably do the next one probably around 11:30. So we'll do one at 11:30, earlier if it gets worse, but we'll break in and give you another update on Facebook Live for sure on 11:30. So just keep an eye on that. All right, thanks for watching our storm coverage tonight. The tornado threat is currently moved on out. Hopefully you don't see us the remainder of the night on TV. Chief Meteorologist Joel Barnes here, just with an update. Some scary looking clouds here in Jackson, but that's about all we have to look forward to for the remainder of the night in the hub city. We still do have a tornado watch out for Madison County down to the southeast, although we're not getting any more tornado concerns tonight in Madison County. We got a brand new severe thunderstorm warning, which does now include Hardin County. So Bolivar, Selmer, Henderson, Savannah, all under severe thunderstorm warnings right now for gusty winds, a lot of thunder and lightning, and maybe some small hail. So here's our final push of storms tonight. You'll notice there is some hail right along the border there down into Mississippi, and a little bit of hail south of Bolivar. What's coming into Selmer, Savannah, looks probably gusty winds the main concern. I'm not seeing any hail within that line, but there's definitely a lot of lightning, and it's going to be pretty loud. Our tornado warn storm looks like they just finally pulled that tornado warning off of it, and they turned it to a severe thunderstorm warning. That was the one that we broke into live TV that started into East Madison County and then moved over quickly, it looks like now east of the Tennessee River. All right, down south, a lot of heavy rain here through Bethel Springs, Fenger that's heading into Adamsville right along 64. I've got a little bit of small hail showing up southeast of Hickory Valley, and it also looks like we've got some hail still southeast of Moscow tonight. Generally, this is going to track down into northern Mississippi. I think the main concern for hail tonight, but if we do see some of this continue, it could be down through Eastview. I think Selmer, Bethel Springs, Stantonville, Adamsville, Savannah, you're just going to get some gusty winds. I don't really see much of a tornado threat, although can't obviously 100% rule that out, and I don't think you'll see much for hail, but kind of the general timing there for Raymer, Eastview, close to midnight here. That's about 30 or a little less than 30 minutes out. So this is definitely some gusty winds. We still have some inflow into the main line, so can't 100% rule out a spin up. We're going to watch it here for the next hour until it clears on out, but again, I'm not super concerned tonight with any sort of tornado concerns. A little bit of rotation as well, northeast of Selmer, northwest of Savannah. So here's the big picture here. We've got our line coming on by. We've got severe weather extending from Nashville now. They're getting it all the way down into southern Hardeman County near Memphis. There's a look at what's left of the tornado watch. We'll probably get Madison County and a few other counties pulled out here at the top of the hour at midnight. So here's our storm track. Again, tracking southward midnight, still dealing with these storms through Selmer and Savannah. By 1 a.m., finally pushing out, I think, of Hardin County. And then by 2 o'clock, I think our severe storm threat is going to wrap on up. We'll have another update here at the top of the hour at 12. Okay, if the storms get worse from now to 12, we'll break in at 11:45 and give you an update then. If not, you'll see us back at 12. We'll give another update. Tornado warning, anything significant, we'll break in and cover it live in its entirety. Thanks for keeping it here on WBBJ. Continue to stay weather aware tonight. If you're watching us down into Hardin, McNairy, Chester, Decatur County, continue to follow us online as well. Well, we're right at midnight, West Tennessee. Everything pretty calm here in Jackson. There's still going to be a couple of lightning strikes tonight as the frontal boundary itself still has to move on through. We're still at 63 degrees, though. G&H Tree Service bringing you that look. Hopefully you don't need any tree service. We have had some reports of some trees down in Lexington. Got a lot of videos of what looked like a wall cloud with that tornado warning storm we had in East Madison County. And one tornado warning tonight down into northern Mississippi. It looks more like a hail concern to me, but we'll take a look at that on the radar. Got a little bit of a kink showing up there between Selmer and Savannah, but I think that'll be moving out. I think we probably got about another 30 minutes. We'll probably have one more live update at 12:30 before I think our severe storm threat has wrapped on up. But we're still watching some reds and some greens showing up down into Mississippi. We had a little bit of rotation. Look at this little area that Jordan and I were watching that did move just north of Savannah. So that was definitely rotating, probably a little bit of a wall cloud, but not enough for the National Weather Service to issue a tornado warning on it. It was pretty up into the atmosphere, probably some mid-level rotation. It's now east of Savannah. We still do have some hail down south. It looks like it's all now moving over into northern Mississippi. We've got a lot of lightning, about 500 strikes just within this one radar image. So it's going to be loud in Selmer, loud into Savannah. And this is all still tracking down to the southeast, but not seeing any hail, not seeing any tornado concerns, although there was that area of rotation. But it's going to be a Nashville problem here as it crosses out of Hardin County. But we were watching that. It was very close to Morris Chapel. We thought we might get a tornado warning triggered there, but they didn't issue one. So there's still some rotation, though, with it. We'll see what the Weather Service in Nashville does, as it will be very close to Waynesboro. As far as up north, again, this is just what's left on the backside of the boundary. None of this is going to be severe, but you're saying, I thought the severe threat was done in Halls. You're still getting lightning, some rain still tonight into Humboldt, Trenton. None of this is going to be anything to be concerned about. Here's still our main concern, though, tonight. Some hail makers, but those are beginning to even track south of Raymer. So this tonight coming through Savannah, Selmer, looks like you've probably seen about the worst of it. I think it's going to continue, though, for another 30 minutes or so south of Selmer, south of Savannah before it moves on out. So here's the big picture. We've got a tornado warning, couple over there in Middle Tennessee, one in North Mississippi. But for us, looks like we're going to be tornado free, I think, for the next hour. But that'll we still haven't got the tornado watch pulled out of Madison County yet. I assume that's going to happen here real soon. Futurecast, though, still keeping some activity around through 1 o'clock. You notice by 1, though, it all begins to move south of Savannah. So you may see us at 12:30, maybe 1 o'clock. A couple of updates here tonight. Meteorologist Jordan Hubbard and I are still keeping a close eye on the situation. But hopefully you can get some sleep. Just be prepared. We've got another severe storm threat coming in on Wednesday. And right now, hate to say it, but Wednesday looks worse than anything we were looking at for tonight. Keep it here on WBBJ. We'll have another update here in about 30 minutes or sooner if the storms get worse.
Welcome in, West Tennessee, folks. Our severe weather threats just about wrapped up. Here's a look on the backside of the storms. We're actually looking towards the southeast, towards McNairy and Hardin County with this camera. Not a lot of lightning left in this system. Temperatures down to 63, dew point down to 61. Cold front's almost here to Jackson. Here's a look at the last little bit of what we have. They allowed the severe thunderstorm warning for Hardin and McNairy to expire. It was set to expire at 12:30. It is now 12:30. They see no evidence to continue, and I don't blame them. But we are just about done. We might see some rumbles of thunder down in Savannah, Counts, Big Ivy. The southern half of Hardin County might see some gusty winds and some thunder, lightning, some heavy rain. Should stay subsevere for the remainder of the night. Here's some more. These are firing right along the cold front. These will stay subsevere. They may not even organize very well. These are just some pockets of rain tapping into some remaining moisture. Again, dew points are still in the 60s back to the northwest. They're just not high enough to sustain. There's just not enough energy left or enough forcing left to force anything to get storms going. Anyway, here's a look at the current wind speeds. As you can see, they've come down a ton, and they're out of the northwest. So our cold front, you can see right where these winds start to turn. They're going to start to turn right around the Crockett-Madison County line. That cold front's almost here in West Tennessee, and we'll give you a look at the dew points. Again, starting to see dew points down in the 50s, so we are starting to see our severe threat diminish quickly. Our alerts going on. I'm going to go take a look at what that is real quick. I'm assuming it's a flash flood warning of some kind. Joel, can you give me an update on that? But our severe threat here in West Tennessee is just about over. Okay, they extended the severe thunderstorm warning for Hardin, Hardeman, and McNairy County. Joel, can you give me the wording on that? I'm assuming it's half-dollar size hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds as it was before. That's right. Okay, cool. Thank you, Joel. But again, timing, I'm assuming, is going to be 1 o'clock maybe? 1 o'clock? 1:15. Okay, cool. All right, folks. This is going to be the last little gas we have of severe weather, but again, it's on its way out of West Tennessee. Probably going to be the last alert we'll have tonight. But you're going to want to rest up tonight because we've got another day coming in on Wednesday that could be another severe weather day. And again, on Thursday morning, perhaps.